All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kwadash. Right? What we see here, okay, a lot of you are going to see a so called black man with an Indian girl. They're basically both Israelites, okay? And this girl comes from a similar culture that I grew up in. Her family reside from North India, all right? She's not a Hindu or a Muslim, okay? So they don't come from an idol worshipping background. She's what you call from a Sikh faith or Sikh religion, all right? And see, Israelite souls will always connect up at some point. Um, what the woman is doesn't make a difference. I can make a discernment spiritually because I am from a similar culture that this young lady has grown up in. All right. Obviously, she's American. He's so-called American. She's so-called American. He's so-called American. They're in America. They met in an office. I watched a bit of it. Okay, and it's how Israelite foreigners have spread. Now, it doesn't blatantly mean that your forefather has to be a so-called black man and look like a so-called black man. You understand me? Now, obviously, way, way, way back when, whenever that was, right? Many generations ago, be it through slavery and war and migration, immigration, whatever, right? You travel to different parts of the world. Jake marries those women, has children. Jake passes on. Children grow up. The children look like the mother. Okay. Now, and sometimes you have cases where you have Judites that look like Hispanics. You have Judites that look like North Indians who look very similar to Latinos. Okay, you have Judites that look so-called white, and they would marry women that are Israelites also that would look Indian, white, so-called black, Chinese, or whatever, because we are everywhere. And you would think that's a mixed race couple, but they're actually an Israelite couple. Not that it matters whatever what the woman is, but there's also cases where there's a Judite man that looks like an Indian guy, or an Israelite man that looks like an Indian guy, or a Latino guy that marries a so-called black or a white woman that's actually a heathen. But they just got they like the white woman could be an Elamite because her father's East Indian, a real Elamite, or a so-called black woman. Her father could be like Tia and Tamara, what do they call them? Those two Amalekite twins from that sister. They're Edomites. They're Amalekites. They can marry an Israelite that looks like a Latino or a white guy or a East Indian or whatever. All right, but you are whatever your father is. That's the parable between the wheat and the tares. What I'm trying to get at is this is the parable between the wheat and the tares. Okay. Now, if they have children, not that we got a long time here because this wedding was recent, right? Now, not that we're going to be here that long, but if they do have children, I mean, as and when, if the Lord allows them to have children on this side, okay, which there isn't much time left, right? The children could come out exactly looking like the mother. All right, you can see the so-called black woman looking at her in disdain, looking at her natural long hair and all that. You can see it. Well, I can see it anyway. And you should see Jake, man, praising her and everything. Jake just, I guess, fell in love. I mean, he's a young man; he's supposed to fall in love, right? Nothing wrong with that. It's a man-woman thing the way the Lord ordained it. But yeah. So this is the parable between the wheat and the tares, man. You know. You can come out looking like the mother. You can be a combination of the mother and the father. You can come out looking exactly like the father. You can have 5 children. It's like a Latino family, like you have 5 children. One could have a blonde hair with curls. One could have blonde hair with straight hair. One could have so-called Negro-esque type features, right? With straight hair, So various ways. And those children grow up. You could have 3 sons that look very different. These two, the children, those lads grow up. One can marry a so-called black woman, one can marry a Chinese woman, one can marry a white woman. Then their grandchildren grow up, so forth and so on. That's how we are jumbled up in every nation upon the earth. All right. Now, obviously, through marriage and wherever a couple would reside, okay, those children usually grow up for the most part, okay, uh, in the country that they grow up in. They follow the so-called structure of that society. And if the father has a certain way of living, usually the wife follows suit. But with Jake, for the most part, because Jake doesn't have a culture in this world, they would usually let the mother sort of guide him and teach him about her culture. And there's been instances I've known where Jake usually, uh, I knew a East Indian Jake where the guy married a white woman and he took on her surname, even though all the surnames come back to us, like Moore and Taylor and Smith and James and all that. But Esau took our surnames, but he took on her surname, so he could basically, he just basically just wanted to fit in, so-called fit in. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So I mean, this is the parallel between the wheat and the tares, man. This is a perfect example. All right. Reason why I chose, I mean, I've seen quite a few. There's quite a few wedding videos that you can see online, especially nowadays. There's a whole host of Israelite Jakes that are from Indian stock. All right, I know because I'm from that area. I can discern who's Jake and who's not. Guys who grow up so-called, I hate saying the term black, so-called black or Latino Jakes won't understand it. They might just say, oh, they're just Elam or whatever, whatever. They're not Elam, man. In India, there's many, many, many nations, all right, in that banner alone. There's loads of Jakes in that part, all right? Hell of a lot of Elamites too, otherwise where are we going to get the slaves from, right? But a lot of Jake, all right? Especially the northern part, the northern area, the northern part, where the people are better looking, way more healthier, taller, broader. The women, majority of them, like are in Bollywood movies. Elam knows where to get them. By the way, the Bollywood movie industry was started by Amalek in India, okay? And the talent that they used, well, a lot of them were Israelite men and women because they know how to push certain agendas and where to get the talent from. Elam don't have talent like that, okay? Or looks like that, especially when it comes to the women. All right. I mean, there's anomalies, but in my experience, it's usually Israelite foreigner women that are from India that look good to me, anyway. All right. I mean, this guy reminds me of Prodigy. He kind of looks like Prodigy, a darker version. Um, yeah. So this is just a perfect example, man. And no matter how you look like, no matter how you come out, right? You are whatever your father is, pursuant to Numbers 1:18. All right. So as mentioned, man, you could have a Judah that looks like a Chinese because the Lord did say that He's gonna hide us, make us covert in the land of Moab, right? So you got the likes of Bruce Lee, China Mac, if you know who that is. Um, Even that rapper called Jin, he's Chinese. Now, if he married a so-called black woman, you think, oh, that's a gook with Salak, that's a so-called chink or whatever, married to so-called. He's married to a sister. Other camps say, get away from him, sister, get away from him, sister. Which I can understand that. On the outside, it looks foul, right? But you just don't know who is who. That's the parable between the wheat and the tares. And if one of our women, right, does end up with a heathen, that's her lot. You know what I mean? Because remember, okay, that's just everyone's so-called life pathway Yahweh Shemesha has ordained it. He definitely Jake. I heard him speak and everything. Because remember, you can't just go by the outside look. There's a lot of so-called black Jakes that have heathen fathers, man. Or heathen grandfathers or whatever. Let's go to a couple of scriptures, man. I quoted Numbers 1:18. Let's go to Numbers 1:18, man. Quick 1-2 scriptures. Just want to, you know. And I think Jake got himself a good woman there. Just a little touch on that little couple there. Because when you see the wedding video, none of her family were there, man. Because that's a hatred amongst uh, Jacob. Deuteronomy 28 verse 54. Eyes shall be evil towards his father. Eyes shall be evil towards his brother. But you got to understand one thing as well, right? Amongst brown people that look similar, the same hatred is towards Arabs, Pakistanis. Why? Because they're Muslim and they're different cultures. The same hatred will be towards a Moroccan because it's not about color. Because I'll give you an example. Right? I have family members here, right, that have complexions like him, and I have family members that can damn near pass for white. All right, I have family members that can pass for Italian. Okay, it's not a color thing; it's a culture thing. Okay, and the names and everything. Now, if you look like that and you grew up in a similar culture to her, it'll be all hunky dory with the family. All right, only some of her family members are there, which goes to show this Jake got himself a decent one, man, because she pretty much left all her family to be with him. You know, um, good on Jake, man. It's a nice looking, it's a nice Israelite couple here. But anyway, don't matter what the woman is, by the way. All right. Numbers 118. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. All right. You are wherever your father is, a seed line you come from. Hence the reason the woman takes on the man's surname, and it's not the other way around. All right. You understand? That's how it works. Okay. And a lot of Jakes, get this racist thing. Oh, they don't like us because we're black and all that. It's got nothing to do with you because you're being so-called black. It's a simple fact that you are from another culture. Now, if let's just say like an Elamite family, right, a real Elamite family, a dothead family, their daughter marries a Moroccan or an Arab, it's still going to be a problem, even though they look kind of similar. They're brown, but he's a Muslim and he's Moroccan. They're not going to be happy with that. Now, if he was uh, Amalek, without because you've got some Amalekites that are kind of like Iranian looking, right? They're kind of darker. It's still going to be a problem. Okay, just because you look kind of similar in ethnicity, but you grow up in a different culture, it's still going to be a problem. Okay, because what most families what they're trying to do is hold on to their culture and their ways. You understand? Because it's not just about two people getting married; it's about families coming together as well. You understand? All right. Oops, lock yeah. Okay, done. Numbers 118. Let's go the parable to the wheat and tares. All right, wheat and tare look similar. Okay, a wheat and a tare look very similar. All right. Okay, yeah, Matthew 13:30 is a better one. The wheat and the tares look similar, right? Let's Google a picture between wheat and tares, actually. Wheat and tares. Let's go to images. Images. Okay. How to discern from the wheat and tares. Southwards. Ethiopian business industrial use. Laborers heard. What? Okay. How to discern the wheat from the tares. Because wheat and tares look very similar, right? That's why there's a certain talent that farmers have to discern from them. You understand? It's like chucking, for example, um, it's like having two lawns side by side. One is real, grown from the soil, from the roots. The other is one of those, what do you call them? Those artificial kind of lawns that people have because they're too lazy to have a garden and mow the lawn. That kind of thing. So the artificial one would be the tare, and the real one would be the wheat. Okay, they look similar, but one's real. All right, there's a wheat, there's a tare. All right. Matthew 13:30. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them. So when the Lord Yahushua returns, because this is in red, he's gonna come and delete all you tares. So all you Jake women that have had children with Habib and Mr. Patel. I'm talking about real heathens, okay? Because I know there's Jake amongst everyone. The Habib and Mr. Patel and some cracker, or some gook. All right, your children are gonna be taken and deleted, okay? All right, or put into chains. All right, but if you're in America, you're gonna be deleted. Ain't gonna be nothing left. But then the Lord said, "But gather the wheat into my barn." All right. So also on the flip side, you're going to have a lot of Israelites that look like heathens. They're still the wheat though, because they are of the elect, if they are chosen from the foundations of the earth. All right. So it doesn't matter what you look like. You are whatever your father is. This is not a black thing or a white thing. They are Israelites, look like everybody. All right. But in the kingdom, okay, that's one stipulation I have to emphasize. In the kingdom, which is going to be on planet Earth, all right, every Israelite's going to have their look back. So if you're a Judite, you will look like a Judite again. It's not going to be like, oh, you're going to have to look like Wesley Snipes. They're going to be various diverse shades, hair textures, curly, woolly, all them beautiful kind of things. Different eye colors. That's what I believe through the Spirit. All right. A lot of brothers have had visions and dreams of how Jake will look. You're going to have your Ephraimites here with some of them with their slick backs, some of them, straight hair. Some are going to have their curly hair. It's going to be like that. But you are not going to look like an Edomite. You are, like a cracker with pink skin. You're not going to have that with pig skin. You're not going to have yellow hair. You are not going to look like a gook. You're not going to look like, a real dothead East Indian. You're going to be brown, but you're going to be according to pursuing to your specific tribe. But the Israelites are going to be very diverse looking. All right. Okay. So that's the parable between the wheat and the tares, man. And there are Israelites everywhere that look like that, man. And I've been seeing since I'm in my late 40s, right? I've been seeing Jake. You didn't really see women of color with white guys back in the day. I didn't really see it. I saw black women, but I didn't really see brown women like you know with white guys. You see it now because the Lord is basically um, lining up these women and their children to be taken, deleted, um, and also on the flip side, also creating Israelite couples, but on the outside they look like heathen couples. You might see a heathen, you might see a Jake who looks like a heathen, but he's a Jake, but he's with a woman of color. It's on the outside. You have to be spiritually, you have to discern spiritually. I know it looks fine as I know it looks foul as a Jake when you see, especially a fine looking woman of color with a devil. But you never know, that devil looking person could be a Jake. We just don't know. But sometimes you can tell through the spirit that's a cracker. All right, so that's just the way the Lord is doing it, man. So this is, you know, been happening, all right, from the times of King Solomon, and I mean, Jake likes women of different looks, man. Different styles. They're tired of Keisha. You know, they're tired of that. You know. But anyway, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rakak Badash. Shalom.